Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk about the recent blue post that we got from Blizzard regarding several changes that we're going to be receiving in TBC anniversary when compared to the last time we got TBC in like 2020 or 2021. Overall, I think that there's more good than bad. However, I'm going to talk about each relevant point and just give my take. I'm a little bit late to the party as far as videos like this. I've already seen like 10 different content creators pretty much make this exact same video. But I watch like all of them just because I like to listen to people's takes. And if you also like to listen to people talk about this kind of stuff, this is the video for you. First video on the channel that's not about Warlock specifically, just about the game in general. But I just wanted to talk about it because I have some opinions and maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. But let's just kind of go down the list. So the first and one of the biggest changes is raid-wide lust for shamans with a sated 10-minute debuff that resets on wipes. So exactly like Wrath of the Lich King. In TBC, like original and the like 2021, it was party-wide, right? And people who were trying to min-max, what they would do is one, they would bring a lot of shamans, 5 shamans, 6 shamans, maybe even 7 shamans to a 25-man raid. And some guilds would just, if they had like 5 shamans, they would just, each shaman would pop lust when the raid leader felt it was appropriate. However, the min-max way of doing it is you take your best DPS group, most likely the Warlock group, maybe like the Hunter group, but more than likely the Warlock group, and you just chain lust onto that one or maybe 2 groups. So maybe it's just one group trying to get like 100% bloodlust uptime, or 2 groups getting very good uptime on it. But basically, the raid leader or whomever would have to move shamans from one group to another mid fights in order for the big pumper groups to have all the bloodlusts. And then yeah. And also if you happen to wipe like like during the Sunwell, right? A lot of guilds were progressing on like Muru and Killjaden, like 2 of the hardest fights in TBC. Well, if you commit all your bloodlusts to an attempt and you wipe, well, then you have 2 options. Do you try again with no lust? Well, you just wiped with bloodlust, so you're probably just going to wipe again. Or do you just sit around twiddling your thumbs waiting for the thing to come back off cooldown? But then now it's changing to the Wrath thing. So we do not have to worry about swapping shamans mid-group. It resets on wipes. I think this is a very, very, very good change. I've seen most people agree with me that this is a good change, but the few people who are upset about this change are saying that, well, now shamans are not nearly as desirable. Like, the reason you brought so many shamans was because bloodlust was so powerful. Well, I don't really agree with that. I don't think anybody really enjoyed the fact that you didn't need, but you wanted so many shamans for TBC, specifically for stacking bloodlust on specific groups. Like some runs had like up to 7 shamans for 25 people. There's 9 classes in the game. That's just way disproportionately high. So it's going to be way easier to not necessarily need so many shamans. Like people there in my guild in TBC, there were some people who were kind of just like forced to play shaman. They didn't even really want to play shaman, but like look, we really need your shaman ult in here. Like you kind of have to reroll to your shaman because we need shamans. It was just very annoying from a raid lead perspective trying to find so many shamans. Also very annoying to move shamans mid fight. Was it fun for the Warlock group and the Hunter group or whomever if they're getting chain Bloodlust? Well, of course it's fun DPSing with Lust. But the downside of that is if the meta is Warlocks getting like 2 to 3 Lusts in a fight, well then any Warlock who's not getting that, well, you just rest in peace to your good parse. Like, it became a very toxic meta as far as parsing as like a Warlock or a Hunter, to where you like needed multiple Bloodlusts to actually like compete. That was very annoying. You might think that me as a Warlock main might be like, oh man, I'm not getting double Lust, I'm not getting triple Lust, that kind of sucks. No. I don't. I was not looking forward to feeling like I was reliant on getting multiple Bloodlusts in order to compete. Even though I would most likely be the one receiving all those Bloodlusts being a Warlock. It just did not sound like a fun time. And Shamans are not going to be like undesirable. I think they're still going to be probably the most represented class. Like, you still want like 5 Shamans just because you want a Shaman in every group just because of the totems. Like, just Shamans are a very strong class. Particularly Restoration Shamans. They're just arguably the best healer. And they have Bloodlust. Like, Restoration Shamans are just very strong. And Elemental and Enhancement Shamans are quite strong as well. Though their personal DPS is not amazing, it's certainly not bad. And the utility that they bring, not even including Lust, being like the Totem of Wrath that Elemental Shamans provide, or the Mana Spring Totem that like Restoration Shamans give, or the Wind Fury Totem that Enhancement Shamans give. This change does not change the fact that Shamans are still going to be very, very desirable for raids, no matter what spec of Shaman. Very desirable. It just means that you don't need like damn 7 Shamans for 25-man raid anymore. Like 5 will suffice. And that's more than just about any other class is going to be in a raid. So yeah, Shamans are not dead due to this change. Whoever is saying that, I think they're just ill-informed. Yeah, I think this is a very, very good change. Just healthy for the game. Sorry, my cat's meowing or something. Anyways, yeah, this change I was super excited to see. Super excited to see. Even though I'm the one, as a Warlock, who's no longer going to be getting multiple Bloodlusts. Very, very good change for the game. This was the most exciting one for me. Moving forward. Increased Terracone spawn rate and additional nodes. Good change. However, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I think it will help. I do think it will help. But the root of the problem is still like botting is so rampant. So bots are still going to kind of potentially have kind of a monopoly on the Terracone. But it will help. Certainly. I think it's going to be similar to when we got the Black Lotus change on Anniversary. Black Lotus are still expensive, still botted. But the price did go down significantly. And it helped people a lot. So, another good change. 2 W's in a row. Edit mode for UI. This is basically just making it so you don't need quite as many add-ons. It just makes your default interface easier to edit. Another good change. I personally probably not going to use it, but yeah, good change. Another W. The Attunement change. This one I have mixed feelings on whether it's a win or a loss. Overall, I'm just going to talk about it. So, what they're doing is that the original attunement process for heroics and raids is the same. It's the same exact thing, but it's account wide, meaning that you have to do it. You have to do it just like you did in every other version of TBC. But once you do it on your main, you don't have to do it for your ults anymore. The only caveat is that your alts need to be friendly reputation to use that account wide key. But friendly rep is very, very easy to acquire. You just passively will get that by questing or doing a couple dungeons or whatever. So it's pretty much just once you do it on your main, um, yeah, your alts are good to go. How do I feel about that? Not overly happy or overly angry. I think there's pros and cons. Basically, what it does is just makes TBC more alt friendly. Like you don't have to go through that process multiple times. Especially people who want to play like not just one alt, but two alts, three alts, four alts, five alts. It could get very old trying to attune all those characters. But what it kind of will lead to is normal dungeons kind of dying off after like phase one. Like a large part of the reason that the dungeon scene was even as popular as it was, like last time we played TBC, was because people needed to do these dungeons to attune their alts. So even during phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, there was still a demand for these dungeons, right? To get your Karazhan attunement and whatnot. Um, Overall, I would prefer them have not made this change. I would prefer that you have to do the attunements on every character. But I don't feel very strongly about that. Like it will damage the dungeon scene. It will be harder to find groups for dungeons. And last time we played TBC, my favorite way to quote unquote farm gold was on my prop paladin alt. I would like type in trade chat or whatever, or looking for group. Geared prop paladin looking for work. Will tank your max level dungeon or heroic for disenchanting mats. Basically, I will tank your dungeon free of gold costs. You don't have to pay me, but every item, every green and blue or epic or whatever that nobody in the party needs, like as an upgrade, is reserved to me for a disenchant. And I got a lot of business doing that. A lot of people were interested in that, being that it's sometimes difficult to find a geared, experienced prop paladin for your random shadow labs. It just makes the run very smooth, and any gear that anybody needed, of course they could have it, but and they didn't have to pay me any gold. But I just got all the blues and stuff for disenchanting. That was my preferred method of quote unquote farming gold, and that was my plan this time around. I like tanking dungeons on my prop paladin, and yeah, that was how I farmed gold. So that's definitely going to harm me personally, in that there's not going to be nearly as much of a need for tanks for dungeons, because there's not really going to be a large need for dungeons. So the only real negative to this is that it's going to harm the dungeon scene. So overall, I think that it's a neutral point for me. Slightly towards the L. It's more of an L for me. I would prefer them not have done this, but I don't think it's a bad change. I don't think it's terrible. I was thinking they were going to do something like this, or potentially they would just like make the heroics only required honored instead of revered for all your characters. I think that may have been a more attractive change for me. Just your main and your alts, they still have to do the attunements, but the heroic keys are moved down to honored. I think maybe that would have been a better change, but either way, I think that this change is not too bad. Next one, raids in post nerf state. This is the one that really upset me. Not so much that I'm not going to play TBC because of it, but kind of close. Like this one really, yeah, not a good take. a couple fights are drastically different between pre-nerf and post-nerf. The one that comes to mind mostly is Lady Vash. Um, Post-nerf, it is a very, very easy, simple fight. Pre-nerf, it was kind of difficult. Most normal guilds, like not super mega try hard and very efficient speedrunning type guilds, but most like normal, decent guilds, they had to progress a little bit during phase 2 of TBC, particularly on Vash and the last boss of Tempest Keep. I forget his name. But those two fights, a lot of guilds did have to progress, but not like excessively, right? For me personally, in my TBC guild, we were a decent guild. Not top of the line, not bad. But we didn't kill Vash or the last boss of Tempest Keep week 1. I think it was like week 3 we killed the last boss of Tempest Keep, and week 4 we got down Lady Vash. And through several wipes. Like it took some progressing, and when we finally got those fights down, we felt like we accomplished something, like a task that was somewhat difficult for us. We got it done, and then yeah, we were happy, we were excited, we felt good about ourselves having defeated, pre-nerf Vash or whatever. Similar to like how Naxxramas is my favorite raid of Classic. Like, depending on your guild, most guilds this time around didn't kill Saf and KT week 1. My guild didn't. We killed them week 2. So, I mean, not a whole lot of progression required, but still at least a little bit of progression. Whereas my guild right now in Anniversary, before Nax, we only had one raid wipe in all of Molten Core BWL AQ40. We wiped on Twins one time just due to unfortunate circumstances happening. Like one singular wipe within like 10 months of raiding. Like all the content was very easy until Nax, and though Nax not very difficult for us, there was a little bit of progression and we enjoyed it. Like we felt good about ourselves when we killed Saffron, and then well, we never wiped on KT. Like, if you can kill Saffron, you can probably kill KT. But, like, that sense of accomplishment, I think it's sad that we're not really going to experience that until, like, Sunwell. Because post-nerf Vash is a joke. So, this is an L for sure. Like, for a normal guild, I don't think pre-nerf Vash was like a brick wall that was just, they were never going to get it down. Guilds that were weaker than mine, they never did kill pre-nerf Vash, but maybe they were very close. Maybe one more week they would have gotten it down and felt good about themselves. But just turning them into loot pinatas, this is an L for sure. Arena rating starting at 1500. In normal TBC, you start at 0, you work your way up. I think that's a decent change. I think it's attractive for newer players to make them more inclined to try Arena, knowing that they could start at 1500 and then work your way up. You could pay gold each week to reset your rating if for some reason you just dunk your rating because you're not very good. You can try again next week. I think that's not bad. You can play with whoever you like, not just one team, individual rating. So this is just like Wrath of the Lich King. In TBC, typically you have an arena team. You have your 2s team, your 3s team. You can only play with that one other person or those 2 other people. Unless you want to disband your team and make a new one, you can't play with anybody else. And I think that was not an ideal way of going about Arena. I think that once we got into Wrath, that was a much more accessible way of going about it. It's just you can play with whoever you want. Each person has their individual rating, and go from there. That is a W in my book. Rating requirements are reduced. I don't love this change or hate it. There's no rating requirements for anything except for weapon at 1700 and shoulders at 2200. Or actually, I think I mistyped here. Don't quote me. I think it's 2000. If I remember correctly, last time we did TBC in 2021, the weapon was 1850 and the shoulders were 2200. Now they're down to 1700 and 2000. Yeah, like I said, an okay change. I think that it's a little bit sad, not sad, a little bit not ideal that your rating starts at 1500 and then you only need 200 points to get your weapon. I think that that's kind of a low bar to set. It's going to be similar to how like just about anybody can get this, right? So it's like how rank 14 is an anniversary. Anybody who wants rank 14 can reasonably get it. Whereas the old rank 14 system was very exclusive. In my opinion, too exclusive. But now it's like free. Rank 14 is free. So I think there's a bit better of a middle ground. I think what would have been best is to have this 1500 arena start point thing, but keep the weapon at 1850, so that you have to be at least like kind of decent at arena to get the weapon. Because I mean, with how it is with this system, I think you can, like, if you get like 4 or 5 wins, you just, well, there you go. There's your weapon. I think it's a little bit too low of a bar for the weapon. It just doesn't mean quite as much. And the shoulders at 2000. I think that's a more appropriate level for the shoulders. 2200 was kind of hard to get. Like in TBC, I played arena on my main was a priest. And then I also did arena on a resto druid and a rogue. I got a rogue alt and a druid alt, and I did arena on them as well. For me personally, I was like kind of good at arena, but not great. In that my main, my priest, I was able to get the shoulders. I was able to get 2200 rating for the shoulders, and of course 1850 for the weapon. But my rating never got far higher than that. Like I tried for getting gladiator, but I just wasn't quite good enough. I never got glad. I got duelist, which I think that's what it's called, right? Duelist is the one below glad. I got duelist on my priest, and I got the shoulders, but I never got glad. So that's like about how good I was at arena, right? I think that the shoulders being at 2200 was kind of high for the shoulders. I think that maybe a little exclusive, but yeah, either way, 2000, 2200, I don't think it really matters. Cost of gear is reduced, like the amount of arena points it requires. I think that's a good change. They shouldn't be like free, but back in last time I played TBC, it was kind of a grind to get like your full set. Like it took weeks and weeks and weeks. And if you were kind of a 2s enjoyer or a 3s enjoyer, you kind of had to just like do a 5s team just for the hell of it, because you got so many more arena points from 5s. So like even if you really only care about 2s or you only care about 3s, like you kind of just had to do 5s to get arena points to buy your gear, just because that was the most efficient way to get arena points. So I think the cost of gear being reduced is a W, as long as they don't go too crazy with it. Free transfers to Era if you don't want TBC, but there's no cloning. I'm glad that we have free transfers to Era. I think that makes sense, of course, if you don't want TBC. If they had to pay if you had to pay Blizzard to transfer to Era, if you didn't want TBC, that would be toxic. But the lack of cloning, I don't love. Like personally, if there was a cloning service, I would use it. Like I plan to play TBC, but I wouldn't mind having my like nearly full bis warlock um, cloned to an era just to like run around and try to PvP on my very geared warlock just for fun. I would enjoy doing that, but I'm not going to be able to because I want to play TBC. So yeah, I think that that's an L for sure. No TBC hardcore. Hardcore characters have the option to move to era. Another L. I don't see the harm in it. Like, I think Blizzard has a stance that TBC isn't really hardcore viable. It's kind of too hard. There's too many one-shot mechanics. And a lot of streamers are kind of saying the same thing. But what's the harm in letting people do it? Like really, you have to make one server for it? Like, let the people have fun. I'm not really a hardcore enjoyer. When it was first popping off, like with the add-on, I played hardcore a little bit. I wasn't very good because I wasn't patient enough. My highest level was like level 37, so I never like did any hardcore rating or anything. But I played hardcore a little bit and I liked it for what it was. But I'm not a big time hardcore enjoyer. But there are some people who are, and they wanted to play TBC hardcore. So like, why the hell not? I don't really understand this stance Blizzard has. It's like the you think you do but you don't thing again. I don't really get it. Like, what's the harm in having a hardcore server? I don't really get it. Era servers receive quality of life that changes that Anniversary got, i.e. dual spec, instant mail, dungeon finder. I think that this is something that obviously needs to happen due to the fact that uh, characters on Anniversary are able to transfer to Era. So you can't have some people with dual spec and some people without dual spec. You either have to take it away from the people who've been used to it this whole time, or give it to Era. And I think that's the right choice. Just let people have their dual spec. There might be some classic Era purists who are going to be pissed, but overall, I think that it's more people would be angry about losing dual spec that have already had it. Plus, I imagine if they tried to do that, there would be some bugs, and people would end up with it anyways. Kind of like the AV thing when Season of Discovery characters got into AV with Anniversary characters. I think a similar bug would probably happen. And then the last point, the boosts. I really don't like boosts. I was very upset about boosts the first time it happened in 2021. I'm upset about it now. I knew there was no shot. There was no shot there would not be a boost. So I was expecting it. I knew it was going to happen. So I'm not as angry as I was last time. But I'm still not happy about it. It's a 58 boost, 30 days of game time, flying mount, ground mount, toy, pet, new Hearthstone effect. It didn't say the price on what I looked at. I think somebody's saying it's $65. I don't know. But either way, I'm not going to buy it. I don't. Yeah, I have no interest in pay to win. So yeah, not for me. I'm not happy to see it happen again, but I knew there was no shot it wasn't happening. I take boots instead of boost. There we go. 1 per account, and you cannot boost the new races. I don't like the boost at all. I wish we didn't have a boost, but since everybody knew we were getting a boost, I don't see the reason. I think that since there is a damn boost anyways, I think that you should be able to boost the new races. Like, why not? I mean, people are going to make their Blood Elves and their Draenites day one and boost with mages. That's what majority of people are going to do. Because I don't think it actually said it in the thing that I read, but I heard that it's a 2-week pre-patch again. I think most people wanted a longer pre-patch. It's a very novel experience in that it comes around very infrequently. like a TBC pre-patch where you're level 60 with level 70 talents and things are changing. And you only have 2 levels to prepare your new um, Alliance Shamans or Horde Paladins, or even if you don't want the new uh, like class, if you just want a damn Blood Elf Warlock or whatever. Like 2 weeks is a short amount of time to level from 1 to 60 and kind of prepare yourself for TBC. Like that's kind of the reason I think a lot of people are gonna feel like they're kind of forced to mage boost, because it's like, oh, well, I only have 2 weeks to, like, I want to main a Horde paladin. I only have 2 weeks to prepare myself. I think 2 weeks is short, but it is what it is. Like I said, I don't like the boost. I'm not buying the boost, but since the boost exists, since everybody knew the boost was coming, I think it's a little silly that you cannot boost the new races. But yeah, those are my takes. Overall, if I had to say W or L, I would say overall W, because I was so happy to hear about the raid-wide lust. The TBC shaman meta was so annoying, and I'm glad to see that gone. So this is like a huge W, but there is a huge L, and that is raids in post-nerf state. The rest of these points, I think, are either like slightly good or slightly bad. Slight W, slight L. But yeah, the raids in post-nerf state really hurt my spirits. But the raid wide lust is very exciting. But yeah, those are my takes. I'm excited for TBC, even though there's a few things I'm not happy to see. But overall, I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.